Hi, Kevin Jaffe, Chief Operating Officer here at Mopeka Products again, back with another installation video for you. Today we're going to go through the installation process for our Mopeka Pro Check Universal Water Sensor. I also have the Mopeka Pro Check regular universal sensor here. Most of you tend to ask us, what's the difference between the two? From a sensor perspective, absolutely nothing. But the green box sensor is designed for magnetic tanks, while the blue box comes with an additional collar for the application that we're going to be using today, which is anything non-metallic, non-magnetic type tanks. So today we're going to go through that. Before we get to the installation, let's go through what comes in the actual Mopeka Pro Check Universal box. So upon opening, you're going to get your Mopeka Universal Pro Check sensor. You're going to get your dielectric grease, your 3M activator adhesive, your two-piece collar design. In addition, you're going to get your basic instructions on how to set up the sensor and an additional instruction sheet here talking about where to mount and how to mount the bracket onto your tank. In addition, you might need a couple extra tools to make sure you have a successful installation. The first one is either a rag or a roll of paper towels for us to be able to clean the bottom of the tank to make sure we have a good clean surface to stick to. And in addition, if you don't know the dimensions of your tank, you might need a tape measure to go ahead when we get to the part where we enter the dimensions of the tank in the installation. So as you can see, we've taken our water tank here and we've turned it on its side for demonstration purposes. Obviously, if you're doing this and it's on your RV, this is stationarily mounted in a horizontal position. But we wanted to be able to show the bottom of the tank for the installation today. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our paper towels per our instructions here, and we're going to follow those exactly. We want to make sure we have a clean surface. So I'm going to go ahead and clean the bottom of the tank off, make sure there's no debris that's going to get in the way of sticking. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to try to find the right location on this tank. Now, per your instructions here, we do have a diagram on it. It's talking about this area of the tank. Why? Because we have full view of the full height of the tank at this location. At the same time, there's nothing in here that's going to impede the signal from being able to go all the way to the top and the bottom. So this is the area that we're going to use the installation for today. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take our two collar design here, piece collar design. Want to make sure we're very specific about this. This is a very tight lid. It is opened by pushing down and pulling on the tabs. Do not use a screwdriver to pry this open. You do run the risk of breaking this, but we're going to go ahead and separate this now, and we're going to get the bottom part separated from it, and now we're going to go ahead and put it on the tank, and we'll show you how to do that promptly. Now that we have our collar installed, the next step is the actual installation of the sensor. We're going to need the use of the Mopeka Copilot app. Per the instructions in your kit, you can find that app and download it either from the Apple iStore or the Google Play Store. When you first open it up for the very first time, it will ask you for permissions to your Bluetooth and your location settings. Both must be on, and you must say yes to both. Once we've done that, you're going to have the Bluetooth device screen sitting here flashing at you, waiting to be paired with the sensor. We're going to go ahead and take our sensor, and when we ship these, they're in sleep mode. So you need to hold down the green button for 5 or 10 seconds. In addition, we're going to go ahead and hit the plus button in the bottom of our app, which is going to put it into a sync mode. I'm going to go ahead and hold this now for 5 seconds until it pops up on our screen. If you should get a pop-up that says about being in a sleep mode or safe mode, just hit your green button 5 times and that will be bypassed. Now that we've got it paired to the sensor, to our app here, we're going to hit setup. And this is going to set up a Bluetooth connection directly with the sensor. The first thing we're going to have to do is give this a name. You can name it whatever you want, though we do have a couple suggestions here in the app. This is going to be RV Tank 1 for today's demo purposes. So I'm going to select that and hit confirm. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to select the commodity. So once again, the Universal Pro Check can do multiple commodities other than propane. Today we're going to do water. So I'm going to hit the drop down and I'm going to select water and hit done and now confirm. Now, for most tanks, if they are uniform, you won't have to worry about this too much. But when we come to water tanks, you need to be able to measure them out. Right now, we don't have standard size of these, so you're going to scroll down to the bottom of your screen to arbitrary, and you're going to hit next. Here's where you're going to need to know the dimensions of the tank. For this particular demo, we already know that the dimensions of this tank are 11 inches high, and the overall volume is 13 gallons. Okay, it's also a bottom-up sensor, so we make sure that that's selected, and we make sure that the commodity, once again, is set to water in this particular case. We're going to go ahead and hit next. Now we're going to see a little video on your screen that talks about taking your dielectric grease, taking off the top, and what we're going to do is we're going to place it on the sensor itself. So take your sensor, and we're going to put all the dielectric grease on the rubber sonar pad in the middle, in between the two magnets. So go ahead and squeeze that on there. Don't be afraid to use it all. That's okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hit next. And now we're at the leveler and the quality screen. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put this on here. And obviously it's not going to be level because we're sideways right now. But what we're going to do is we're going to mount it, put the cap back on, and then we're going to come back and show you the leveling and the quality. So now we've turned our tank over and we've made it level. We've got our Mopeka Copilot app. We can see that it is now fairly level. It doesn't have to be perfect. And we have 2-star quality. So I can go ahead and hit confirm. And now our successful setup, and it'll tell us that we're finished. We hit finish. And we've put a little water in this tank for demonstration purposes. And we can see here that we have 24% of this tank currently being used. So that concludes the installation of the Mopeka Pro Check Universal sensor on water tanks. If you need any support beyond this video, please reach out to us at mopeka.com/support and enter a ticket, and an engineer will get back to you ASAP.